In this video, I'm going to reveal 7 things you should never tell people, which you are probably sharing every day without realizing how much it blocks your prosperity and your results. You know that feeling that things aren't flowing as they should? That there seems to be an energy holding back your success, stalling your growth? Exactly, that feeling that your plans never take off or take forever to become reality. Well, you can stop blaming the universe. The problem is what's coming out of your mouth. I've already done a series of videos talking about the power of the spoken word and how it is one of the most powerful manifestation tools in existence. And today, I'm going to dive deep into the 7 behaviors you simply need to eliminate when talking to others. Pay attention. There are secrets that protect and secrets that destroy, but what no one tells you is that the worst secrets are the ones you fail to keep. Napoleon Hill, one of the world's greatest authors on self-knowledge, interviewed hundreds of millionaires back in his day and identified a very interesting pattern among them. He discovered they all shared one common characteristic. They knew exactly what never to share. It doesn't matter if you want to become a millionaire or not. That's not the point here. Surely you want your plans to work out, don't you? Surely you want to achieve good things in your life. And more than knowing what you want, I am sure you don't want the flow of energy and the fluidity of your life to be interrupted. I am sure you don't want things in your house breaking for no reason. You don't want to crash your car all the time, or watch your projects sink. So this content is extremely important for us to reflect together on what you should keep to yourself and not share with other people. Okay? I'm talking about information that seems harmless at first, but acts like a true silent poison in your routine, completely sweeping away your results and the realization of your dreams. And before I tell you what these 7 poisons are, I have good news and bad news. The bad news is that you are likely telling at least 3 of these 7 things to others. The good news is that if you make a small course correction and stop this self-sabotage today, in a few days your energy will start to shift. And look, it will change at a level you will notice very quickly, and you will never want to speak about these things to anyone again. The first mistake that stalls your life is telling your plans and goals to others. Every time you reveal your plans and goals, it's as if you were throwing away a brick you would use to build your house. When you talk too much about what is still under construction, the energy disperses. It's as if your project, your dream, or whatever you are creating is a small fire that is just starting to burn, and every word is like a drop of water falling on it until eventually it goes out. Let me give you an example that many people will recognize. You know that cousin who has been saying for 5 years that he's going to start a business? At every family gathering, it's the same story. The plan has changed 47 times because every person gave their opinion. To this day, the business exists only in his wasted saliva and simply does not advance, does not grow, does not move forward, because he has much more talk than power of action. This happens due to a phenomenon I call symbolic substitution. When you verbalize something, it's as if it replaces the need to actually do it. Your mind feels, by speaking, a momentary realization that promotes the same feeling as if you were actually doing it, achieving it. It is a symbolic exchange. You speak, you feel that pleasure as if you had already achieved everything, but deep down, it is just words in the wind. You haven't executed anything in practice. Another thing, when you expose your plans too much, you start to attract envy from others. It's as if you were literally arming your adversaries. And no, I'm not being dramatic here. Think with me. How many people really want to see you win? I'll give you the answer. Fewer than the fingers on one hand. Your mother might be afraid that you'll grow and drift away. Your friends might fear you'll leave them behind. Your coworkers definitely don't want you climbing while they stay stagnant. And do you know what happens? People disguise sabotage as concern. Oh, but that market is saturated. Are you sure? It's very risky. I know someone who tried and went broke. Don't you think it's better to wait a little longer? Each of these phrases is a trap, aiming at your dreams. And the worst part is, most of the time, it comes from the people you trust the most. Of course, there are good people, there are people who love you, yes, and who want to see your success. But if you really want to grow, start considering that these people also have limiting beliefs, and that, even loving you, even wanting your best, subconsciously, they can sabotage you in practically invisible ways. The ancient alchemists had a principle: solve et coagula, dissolve and coagulate. But they never revealed the formula during the process. They only showed the gold at the end. Why? Because they knew that halfway through, any external interference could corrupt the transformation. This applies to anything you are going to do, okay? Your plan is like a seed in the soil. It needs darkness, silence, energy, nutrition, and time to germinate. And there is another secret that millionaires don't tell you. Information is power, but only as long as it is exclusive. The moment everyone knows, it becomes banal. It becomes nothing. Do you think Jeff Bezos told his neighbor he was going to sell books on the internet before doing it? Did Warren Buffett share his investment strategies at the Sunday barbecue? No. They understand the law of secrecy. The fewer people know, the fewer obstacles appear. And when you finally achieve it, then you really don't need to say anything. The result speaks for you, and it is impossible to argue with results. What we do in life echoes in eternity, but what we say we are going to do echoes only in the wind. The second habit that sabotages your life is talking to others about your relationship. Don't speak well of it, and don't speak ill of it. Never expose your relationship to third parties. Oh, but I love my wife, my husband so much. I want to share our happiness. Stop right there. You are digging your relationship's grave. Your relationship is a sacred union. It must be protected like a temple. When you keep talking about it to other people, what does it awaken? Envy, especially when you praise it, when you talk about how happy you are, how good the relationship is, and how much love exists there. That is what hurts others. Nowadays, in the chaotic world we live in, envy is easily triggered in others. If you talk too much about your partner, people start looking for flaws, planting seeds of doubt. Is it really that perfect? Are you sure he isn't cheating on you? And don't think this is paranoia. Envy is a real and very destructive force. When we expose our happiness too much, we activate in others what is called upward social comparison. It is an automatic trigger. The other person's brain compares it with what they are living and feels inferior. And what do human beings do when they feel inferior? They attack. You know that friend who always has a but when you tell her something good? Oh, that's beautiful. But be careful. Men like that usually. That but is not care. It is poison disguised as advice. And this attack doesn't even need to be direct. It can simply be a negative feeling, a low-frequency projection onto what makes you happy. And when you speak ill of your relationship, then you are slowly building an even worse scenario. By reinforcing the negative part, the bad part, you are activating more neural connections for things to go off the rails completely. Your own vision deteriorates more and more, and there comes a time when living together becomes unsustainable. Not to mention that 2 weeks from now you might make up, hug, forgive each other, but people never forget what you said. Your mother-in-law will eternally remember that time you complained about her son. Your friends will always look at your partner with different eyes. In other words, you transform your relationship into cheap entertainment for others. It turns into a real-life soap opera. And there's more. Every time you complain about your partner to others, you are betraying their trust. Yes, betraying, because a relationship is complicity, it is a partnership. And what kind of partnership is it where one speaks ill of the other behind their back? Look, there are people who purposefully plant discord. They see a happy couple and feel a morbid pleasure in destroying it. They ask malicious questions like, "Wow, he goes out a lot with his friends, doesn't he? She takes a long time to answer your messages, doesn't she?" A couple's intimacy is like a sacred fire. It must burn strong, but inside the house, exposed to the wind of the world, it goes out. So, the relationship is like a tree. The deepest and strongest roots are those that no one sees. They are the ones that hold everything up when the storm comes. But if you keep digging to show the roots to everyone, the tree dies. And here is the final blow. When you expose the relationship too much, you create a prison for yourself and for the other person. Because now you have to maintain this image you created. You have to continue being the perfect couple. You can't have a bad day, you can't be tired, you have to perform happiness all the time. And the same happens for the negative side. You will avoid getting along with the person again because you have already convinced yourself that they are bad for you, and you have already created an image that you have to sustain for others. Do you know what is worse than a bad relationship? a relationship that needs to pretend to be good to keep up appearances. So, engrave this as a main commandment. Your relationship is your sanctuary. What happens between the two of you stays between the two of you. Let's go to the third attitude that blocks your success. Telling others how much you earn. Think with me. If you tell others how much you earn, if you earn little, they will look down on you. If you earn a lot, they will put the evil eye on you. There is no scenario where you win if you open up about your finances. It is information that only concerns you. If you say you are broke, opportunities flee. Successful people avoid associating with those who are failing. It is cruel, yes, but I need to be honest and realistic with you. Now try saying that you are earning well and notice how many emergencies will appear around you. Everyone will have an urgency. A distant cousin resurfaces. Prices mysteriously go up when you show up. And the worst part, they will start questioning the source of that money. Oh, he must be tax dodging. He must be doing something shady to earn that much. Suddenly, you are no longer just a person who worked hard. You become a character in stories that others invent to justify why you have it and they don't. They say, oh, he must have gotten lucky. He knows the right people, insinuating favoritism or something worse. Every achievement of yours starts to be diminished. That promotion you sweated years to get? Oh, but he already earns well anyway, he didn't need it. The new car? Oh, he's showing off. The well-deserved trip? While people are starving, look at him splurging. Do you realize how your life turns into a permanent tribunal? Where you are always the defendant, where every financial choice of yours needs to pass the judgment of people who don't pay your bills, don't know your struggles, don't carry your burdens? Oh, but you have money, you can't complain. Your humanity is reduced to a bank statement. When you tell people you earn poorly, it is even worse because you are verbalizing scarcity. The instant you say, I'm broke, nothing is left over, money disappears, you are not just reporting a situation, you are declaring an identity. You are telling the universe and your subconscious that you are someone limited and scarce. And the subconscious, which does not know how to distinguish imagination from truth, simply obeys. Furthermore, it creates an image in others that reinforces this role. People start seeing you as someone in trouble and subconsciously, you live to sustain this image. You know that person the family always has to help. You end up getting used to that reality, absorbing that identity. Then your mind looks for situations to confirm this. That is how bills appear out of nowhere. Clients disappear. Every time you speak of what is lacking, you vibrate in lack. Silence in this case is your ally. Don't lie, but don't advertise your lack either. Work in silence. Organize your finances. Study, grow, change your frequency. Let your transformation speak for you. The fourth poison that sabotages your prosperity is talking about your problems to others. Your problems should not become bar talk. You know that person who is always complaining? Wow, that is so annoying. Oh, but venting is good. Is it really? Or are you just feeding the victim that exists inside you? And look, I am talking here about dumping your misery on friends, family, and colleagues. There is a brutal difference between seeking professional help and becoming the complainer. If you need help, you should seek a therapist. That is a professional hired to help reorganize your mind. It is very different from dumping complaints all the time into the ears of acquaintances. Every time you narrate your problems, you relive the pain. It's the same thing as watching the same horror movie over and over. With each replay, the fear intensifies. The details become more fixed in your mind. And there is a cruel detail that almost no one notices. People secretly feed on your problems. When you tell your difficulties, some feel relief. At least it's not me doing badly, they think. And then a web of shared suffering is created. Even worse, you become that person. The one everyone avoids in the hallway. The one who, when they join the circle, everyone knows drama is coming. You start to repel opportunities. Who is going to want to hire or relate to someone who lives in permanent crisis? Your brain is a powerful computer. When you constantly complain, you are programming it to look for more problems. It's like installing a misery radar. And guess what? You always find what you look for. Your mind filters reality to confirm the victim narrative. And there's more. Shared problems are rarely resolved. People will give you advice based on their limitations, not on the infinite possibilities you have. Of course, there are many good people in the world with open minds, But since the majority is still negative, you have to understand the risk. The more you train your mind, the more you will know who to ask for an opinion. Because there are people with broad vision who can give you a valuable insight. But there are strategies to ask for advice that do not involve complaining, but rather seeking learning. If you simply complain, you don't receive useful advice because people will project their fears. You know that, oh, if it were me, I wouldn't do anything. If you enter this cycle, you build excuses for inertia. So, silence about your problems is a power tool. Reflect on them, meditate, and find the solution. When you show up with the solution, then yes, you inspire, you become interesting, someone who resolves things. Very well. The fifth mistake that sabotages your prosperity is announcing your achievements before the time. People have a curious tendency. They barely achieve something and already feel the need to tell everyone. They want to share the victory, the new project, the opportunity, the revenue that went up. It is almost an innocent impulse, right? After all, why not celebrate? But behind this, there is a danger. You have an open channel with the manifestation field. You are connected, achieving. Then you go there and tell the other person. You expose the achievement. When you do this, you open a third energetic field of interference. Not everyone will vibrate at the same frequency. Some will feel envy, others will project doubts, and many, even unintentionally, will emit thoughts that drain your strength. When you show too much of what you are building, you become vulnerable. More than that, the brain itself, upon receiving social validation, relaxes. It is as if, just by telling, you had already accomplished it. The dopamine released by approval anticipates the pleasure of victory and action slows down. It is the same mechanism as those who talk too much about plans and lose the steam to act. Keeping silence about your victories is wisdom. It is understanding that not everything needs to be said, not every achievement needs to be displayed. The sweetest fruits grow in silence before appearing in the orchard. Celebrate internally, give thanks, but other than that, keep the focus on continuity. The sixth point that sabotages your prosperity is speaking ill of others. Bad-mouthing others is one of the subtlest ways to lose energy. It seems like something silly, unimportant. A comment here, a criticism there. But every time you focus on someone's flaws and mistakes, you divert your gaze from your own evolution. The tongue that judges is the same one that creates. And when it is busy pointing out other people's errors, you end up attracting similar problems to your life. Judging and criticizing is the easiest thing in existence. It requires zero responsibility. But growing, looking inward, working on your shadows, that is complex because it requires emotional discipline. When you speak ill of someone, even if it is just venting, you are reinforcing the vibration of scarcity and comparison. And the universe understands your energy is to diminish, not to expand. There is a strong aspect of attraction here. When you say someone is incompetent, lazy, or ungrateful, you are giving that command to the field and generating negative karma. It is like reaffirming that these patterns are part of your world. The result? You start attracting people and situations that mirror exactly what you criticize. True strength lies in observing without judging. That is the challenge, seeing the mistakes of others as mirrors to understand your own points for improvement. When someone falls, you have two options: point the finger or extend a hand. Only one of them brings you closer to prosperity. When someone rises, you also have two options: attack and belittle, or admire and think, what can I learn from this person? How can their results inspire me? Very well. The fifth mistake that sabotages your prosperity is announcing your achievements before the time. People have a curious tendency. They barely achieve something and already feel the need to tell everyone. They want to share the victory, the new project, the opportunity, the revenue that went up. It is almost an innocent impulse, right? After all, why not celebrate? But behind this, there is a danger. You have an open channel with the manifestation field. You are connected, achieving. Then you go there and tell the other person. You expose the achievement. When you do this, you open a third energetic field of interference. Not everyone will vibrate at the same frequency. Some will feel envy, others will project doubts, and many, even unintentionally, will emit thoughts that drain your strength. When you show too much of what you are building, you become vulnerable. More than that, the brain itself, upon receiving social validation, relaxes. It is as if, just by telling, you had already accomplished it. The dopamine released by approval anticipates the pleasure of victory and action slows down. It is the same mechanism as those who talk too much about plans and lose the steam to act. Keeping silence about your victories is wisdom. It is understanding that not everything needs to be said, not every achievement needs to be displayed. The sweetest fruits grow in silence before appearing in the orchard. Celebrate internally, give thanks, but other than that, keep the focus on continuity. The sixth point that sabotages your prosperity is speaking ill of others. Bad-mouthing others is one of the subtlest ways to lose energy. It seems like something silly, unimportant. A comment here, a criticism there. But every time you focus on someone's flaws and mistakes, you divert your gaze from your own evolution. The tongue that judges is the same one that creates, and when it is busy pointing out other people's errors, you end up attracting similar problems to your life. Judging and criticizing is the easiest thing in existence. It requires zero responsibility. But growing, looking inward, working on your shadows, that is complex because it requires emotional discipline. When you speak ill of someone, even if it is just venting, you are reinforcing the vibration of scarcity and comparison. And the universe understands your energy is to diminish, not to expand. There is a strong aspect of attraction here. When you say someone is incompetent, lazy, or ungrateful, you are giving that command to the field and generating negative karma. It is like reaffirming that these patterns are part of your world. The result? You start attracting people and situations that mirror exactly what you criticize. True strength lies in observing without judging. That is the challenge, seeing the mistakes of others as mirrors to understand your own points for improvement. When someone falls, you have two options: point the finger or extend a hand. Only one of them brings you closer to prosperity. When someone rises, you also have two options: attack and belittle, or admire and think, what can I learn from this person? How can their results inspire me?